Hello, everybody. We are so glad to have you here on Morning After. And I mentioned this new book that's out, Woman to Woman, Letters from Wives to Mistresses. And, you know, we cover a little bit of everything on this show, and we thought it would be interesting to have the author on. Her name is Letitia Jackson. She is an author and a women's empowerment advocate. Hi, Letitia, good to see you.
Good morning, Jenny. Thank you so much. It's good to see you, too.
I've got to know what made you write this book. I know it's got to be based on a personal experience for this one.
It is, in fact. It's based solidly on my interactions with my ex-husband's mistress at the time. The title of the book, Woman to Woman, that's not just a title. She actually said those words to me. She said, woman to woman, I just want you to know. And I'm going to stop there because it's a really big reveal in the book what she says. But I do say in the book that while it was my husband who broke our vows, my trust and my spirit, it was his mistress who broke my heart. And it's because of the context of which she used those words when we were face to face.
What was her explanation?
That's kind of part of the reveal, but she honestly didn't really have an explanation. I mean, what mistress really has an explanation or a justification for messing around with a man that they know is married?
So when you think about sort of the depth and breadth of this book and what the goal is it to send a message to people who, you know, have been a mistress? Is it a gotcha to your husband, or is it more of connecting women and having us become more loyal to one another?
It is absolutely 100% focused on strengthening our fractured sisterhood. This destructive behavior that we just continue to pass on is doing us no good. You know, this face of sisterhood we hold up to the world is a facade to me. It's a facade because behind the scenes, we're still doing things like this to one another. It's so destructive. It's so damaging. But the core of the book really is to strengthen our sisterhood and to let women know really what they're doing to these wives, to their sisters, indeed, when they get involved with their husbands.
What do you say to somebody who says, well, look, the husband had to participate as well?
You know, it's funny. I get those angry emails. Why are you just talking about the woman? It's the husband. Look, of course, we all know the husband has his responsibility in it, but I wrote Woman to Woman 100% for women. It's about women. It's for women only. I know the husband has his part in it, but right now it's no longer about him. Because the dynamic has shifted, because mistresses know now that they're the ones in power in this relationship, something shifted. So since that changed, our perspective has to change. And that perspective is that it's no longer just about a husband to wife betrayal. It's now about a woman to woman betrayal.
What did you learn about yourself and your relationship, if anything, by having a conversation with your husband's mistress?
Well, I definitely found out I was a lot nicer than I thought because I was actually, when I think back and when I was writing the book, I remember just being really kind and polite to her. I think my goal was to let her know that I was nothing like her. But I was polite. I was patient. I actually listened to her. Each phone call that she made to me, as much as it hurt, I would listen to what she had to say. I mean, I also learned, of course, that I had responsibility in it as well, not for what she did, not for what my husband did, but for what I allowed at that time in my life.
What do you think kept her coming back to you and speaking to you?
Well, I actually do mention that in the book. I honestly think, unfortunately, it was because she wanted to hear the pain in my voice. I do think that her ego was definitely being stroked by hearing how gutted I sound and listening to the heartless things that he would say to me in front of her for her benefit. So, yeah, unfortunately, I think a lot of these mistresses do that to make themselves feel good. I don't know why. Yeah, it was pretty terrible.
I'm so sorry you had to go through that. Letitia, sounds awful. Thank you for putting together this piece of work so we can help one another and really take a look at what people are doing and what women's empowerment means. I
Yes.
can definitely appreciate where you're going with that. And so, you guys, she wanted to share some information with you about an event that she has coming up. She's actually doing a Clubhouse app talk on the 29th. Are you guys on Clubhouse? Man, it's an addicting app. You can get stuck on there forever. So it's the 29th at 7 p.m. You can go to LetitiaJackson.com and then on Instagram at Letitia Jackson. Was that what you expected?
You know, that's fascinating. I don't know if I could be that patient and nice, but I applaud her. You know, you do have to keep it elevated.
That's what I was kind of wondering. Like, well, what did she say? What was keeping what was keeping this other woman, sort of around and speaking to you and having this conversation? And I suspect in situations where there are children, you will continue a relationship with that person forever.
That's true.